The sky above the desert world was red with dust and fire. The royal ship burned as it fell through the clouds. Princess Zyrea sat strapped to her seat, gripping the armrest tightly. Her guards had already fallen. The blast had taken out most of the crew. She was alone and falling fast. When the ship hit the ground, everything turned dark. Hours passed. Zyrea woke up inside the wreck. Sparks flew from broken panels. Smoke filled the air. She coughed and unfastened herself from the chair. Her leg was cut and her head throbbed. But she was alive. She limped through the ship, calling out to her guards. No answer came. She found one of them crushed under a beam. Another had burns too deep to heal. Her heart ached, but she could not stop. Outside, she could hear creatures moving in the sand. She stepped out into the desert. The heat was harsh. Her royal robes were torn and dusty. With her strength fading, she climbed a hill of wreckage and looked out. Nothing. Only rocks and sky. Suddenly, she heard engines in the distance. A rough old hover bike came into view. On it rode a man in dark armor and a long scarf. He slowed down when he saw her. His hand near his weapon. Matt had seen many strange things in his travels, but nothing like this. An alien woman, dressed in royal colors, standing alone by a burning ship. He stopped the bike and stepped off. "Are you injured?" he asked, his voice calm. Zyrea did not answer at first. She stood tall, her eyes filled with pride and pain. "Do not come closer," she said, her voice weak. Matt raised his hands. "I mean no harm. I'm not here to fight." She wobbled and nearly fell. Matt rushed forward, catching her before she hit the ground. "You're burning up," he said, feeling her forehead. "You need help?" "Leave me," she whispered. "Not a chance." He lifted her gently and placed her on his bike. She was too tired to fight him. They rode across the sands as the sun dipped low. He took her to an old bunker hidden under the rocks. Inside, it was cool and quiet. He laid her on a small cot and got to work. He cleaned her wounds, gave her water, and wrapped her leg. Zyrea watched him. This human was strong but gentle. His hands moved with care. She had been told humans were dangerous, wild, and selfish. But this one saved her without asking for anything. "Why are you helping me?" she asked. Matt shrugged. "Because you need help. That's enough." She closed her eyes. For the first time since the crash, she felt a little safe. The night passed slowly. Matt kept watch, listening for danger. Zyrea slept, her face peaceful. In the morning, she woke to the smell of warm food. Matt handed her a bowl. "It's not royal cuisine, but it'll do," he said with a grin. She took it with both hands. "Thank you." They sat in silence as she ate. The wind howled outside, but inside it was quiet. "What is your name?" she asked. "Matt," he said. "And yours?" She looked down. "Zyrea." "That sounds royal," he said. "It is. I am the princess of the House of Cairo, or was before the crash." He nodded slowly. "So you're not just any alien." "You're the alien." She smiled faintly. "I suppose so." They looked at each other, and something passed between them. A silent understanding. Outside, the world was still dangerous. But for now, in that small shelter, a new connection began. And neither of them knew how far it would go. The border world was dry and filled with dust. Matt stepped off the ship and looked around. People were weak, many of them coughing and tired. The sickness had spread fast. He wore a mask and gloves, just like the healers. They didn't know much about the sickness, but they knew it needed care. He showed the princess a seal, and the doctors let him help. Matt carried supplies, cleared space for beds, and gave water to those too weak to move. He stayed up late, resting only when others made him dot at night. He sat under the stars, holding the pendant Zyrea had given him. He thought of her voice, her smile, her strength. She had trusted him. That gave him the will to keep going. Back at the palace, Zyrea waited for news. Messages came slowly. She read each one carefully. Matt was safe, still helping, still strong. But one day no message arrived. She waited another day. Still nothing, her heart filled with fear. She called a private meeting. I must go to the border. World, she said. Her mother looked shocked. It is not safe. Matt is there, and my people are there. I must see with my own eyes. The council argued, but Zyrea stood firm. Finally, the king nodded. Go, take guards. Take care. Zyrea flew out the next morning. When she arrived, the sight broke her heart. So many people were sick. The healers worked nonstop. She walked among them, offering kind words and comfort. She searched the camps. Where is the human who helped? You? A healer pointed. There, in the west tent. She ran, heart pounding. Inside, Matt lay on a bed, weak but awake. His skin was pale, his eyes tired. He smiled faintly. You came. Zyrea sat beside him. You didn't write. I was scared. I got sick too, he said softly, but I'm getting better. She touched his hand. Don't you ever do that again, he chuckled. I'll try. She stayed by his side. Days passed and Matt grew stronger. The sickness began to slow. The people started to heal. Zyrea worked beside the doctors. She listened to the people. She made sure every village had what it needed. The people saw her not just as a princess, but as someone who truly cared. One evening, Matt and Zyrea stood together, watching the sunset. You saved them, she said. We did, he replied. They love you now, even the ones who doubted you. I didn't do it for that. I did it for you. She turned to him. I want you to stay. Not just in my world, in my life. Matt looked into her eyes. You mean that? She nodded. Yes, I want to walk with you, always. He held her hands. Then let's build that future together. Back at the palace, the news of their work spread. The nobles who once doubted now spoke with respect. The people called Matt the Protector. Children drew pictures of him and the princess standing side by side. One morning, the king stood before the court. My daughter has shown wisdom, strength, and heart. She has chosen a path of unity, and I bless it. Zyrea and Matt stood together. Hands joined. The court cheered. Even those who once doubted now nodded in approval. Later, in a quiet part of the palace, Matt asked, Are you ready for this? For the life ahead? Zyrea smiled. With you, I'm ready for anything. They walked into the future, not as princess and outsider, but as two souls who found each other across the stars. They had faced fear, pain, and doubt. But in the end, they chose love, and it changed everything. Matt woke early. The palace was still quiet. He walked through the halls, trying to understand this new life. He had never lived in a place so grand, where even the air smelled clean and fresh. But it still didn't feel like home. Zyrea joined him by the garden. She smiled when she saw him. You're always up before sunrise. Old habit, Matt said. The desert taught me to rise early. She stood beside him, watching the sky grow light. Do you miss it? Sometimes, he answered. It was harsh, but it was simple. Zyrea nodded. Life here is not simple. It's full of rules, faces that smile but do not trust. Matt looked at her. Are they still whispering about us? Yes, she said. Some think I'm foolish. Others think I'm brave. And what do you think? She smiled. I think I did the right thing. Matt took her hand. Then that's all that matters. Later that day, Zyrea brought Matt to the learning hall. She wanted him to meet the children of the court, the future leaders of her people. They entered a room filled with young students, all dressed in light robes, sitting in neat rows. The teacher bowed to Zyrea. Welcome, princess. We are honored. Zyrea smiled. Today I bring a guest. This is Matt. He comes from Earth. He helped me when no one else could. The children looked at Matt with wide eyes. One of them raised a hand. Are humans really strong? Matt, laugh. Some of us are, but strength is not just muscles. It's also about heart and choices. Another child asked, were you scared when you saved the princess? Yes, Matt said. But I acted anyway. Being brave doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you keep going even when you are. The children nodded. Their questions continued, and Matt answered each one with care. Zyrea watched him with pride. He was not just a warrior. He was a teacher, a guide, and someone who made others feel safe. After the lesson, they walked back through the halls. They liked you, Zyrea said. They were curious, Matt replied. That's a good start. But not everyone was happy. In the evening, a noble named Lord Erlen requested to speak with Zyrea. He was tall, cold, and proud. Princess, he said, we respect your strength and your will. But bringing a human here into our hearts and halls is dangerous. Zyrea stayed calm. He saved me. He respects our ways. He harms no one. He does not belong, Erlen said. The people talk. Some grow angry. Matt stepped forward. I didn't come to cause trouble. If you want me gone, say it plainly. Erlen looked at him. I say only what many think. Zyrea stood. Then they must learn to think in new ways. The noble bowed, but his eyes were cold. Be careful, princess. Change brings storms. When he left, Matt turned to Zyrea. He has power, doesn't he? Yes, she said. But power without kindness is hollow. He won't stop with words. Then we must be ready, she said. The next day, a message came from one of the border worlds. A sickness was spreading. People needed help. Zyrea called a meeting. Some nobles wanted to wait, to protect their own cities. Matt stood and said, if we wait, people will die. We must act. I'll go. Zyrea turned to him. It's dangerous. I've faced worse, he said. Let me do this. She looked into his eyes and nodded. Take my seal. They will know you speak with my voice. That evening, Matt prepared to leave. Zyrea walked with him to the ship. Come back to me, she said. Always, he replied. She gave him a small pendant. For luck and for memory. He placed it around his neck. I'll carry it close. The ship took off into the sky. Zyrea watched until it vanished. Her heart was full of worry, but also pride. Matt was not just a visitor anymore. He was part of her world, and he was already changing it. Matt followed Zyrea through the grand halls of the palace. Everything around him was bright and clean. Strange lights glowed from the walls, and soft music played in the air. It felt like a dream. Servants and guards watched him with wide eyes. Some looked curious. Others looked angry. Zyrea held his hand tightly. She didn't let go, even when they reached the royal garden. It was quiet there. Trees from many planets grew together. Birds flew over a small pond. The sound of water made the place peaceful. Matt sat on a bench while Zyrea stood beside him. I missed this place, she said. But it felt empty without you. It's beautiful, Matt replied. But I don't think they want me here. Zyrea sat next to him. They don't know you. They fear what they don't understand. That's the same everywhere, he said. She turned to him. Do you regret coming? He shook his head. No, not even for a second. For a moment, they sat in silence. Then Zyrea said, tomorrow I speak to the council. I want them to accept you. Not as a guest, but as someone important to me. Matt looked at her, surprised. Are you sure? Yes. I won't hide how I feel. The next day, Zyrea stood before the council. 12 elders, each from a powerful house, watched her from tall seats. Matt stood at the back of the room, quiet and calm. We welcome your return, princess, one elder sighed. Your survival is a blessing. Thank you, she replied. But I'm here to speak at the man who saved me. The council members shifted. Some frowned. Others whispered to one another. A human? One elder said. Why should we honor a creature of War, Zyrea raised her voice. Because he did what many of our own would not. He risked his life to save mine. He asked for nothing in return. He treated me with care and respect. Another elder spoke. But he is not one of us. That should not matter, Zyrea said. Kindness and courage are not owned by one people. I owe him my life, and I care for him deeply. I will not hide that. Matt stepped forward. I don't want power. I don't want a title. I only want to be with her if she wishes it. The room fell quiet. The elders stared Dot. Then the queen spoke. Let them speak their truth. Let us not turn away those who show honor. The king looked at his daughter, then at Matt. He nodded slowly. Very well. Let this be known. The council will not stop this bond, but it is your choice, Zyrea. Zyrea smiled and turned to Matt. She took his hand again. That night, the palace held a feast. It was not a royal wedding, but a celebration of survival, courage, and new beginnings. Matt sat beside Zyrea as music played and lights danced in the sky. He wore simple robes, but they felt strange after his usual travel gear. Zyrea leaned close. Are you all right? A little overwhelmed, he said with a laugh. Get used to it, she teased. You're part of my world now. He looked into her eyes. And you're part of mine. Later that night, they walked through the garden again. The stars above looked the same as before, but everything had changed. Zyrea stopped by the pond. Matt, I want to build something new. Not just for us, but for both our people. A bridge. It won't be easy, he said. The best things never are, she replied. He took her hand. Then let's start. Together. And under the stars, with quiet hearts and shared hope, they began their next journey. The royal ship flew across the stars, leaving the desert world far behind. Zyrea sat quietly in her private chamber, staring out the window. The stars did not comfort her. Her people cheered her return, but her heart felt heavy. She missed the quiet of the bunker. She missed the human who had risked his life for her Matt at court. The news of her survival spread fast. Officials bowed, nobles whispered, and the king, her father, embraced her with joy and tears. But even as he held her, Zyrea's eyes looked. Beyond the royal halls, her days filled with meetings and formal greetings. Her nights were restless. She thought of Matt's smile, his calm voice, his rough hands that had treated her wounds so gently. She had been taught to fear humans, but he had shown her kindness and respect. One evening, her mother, Queen Liren, entered her room. The queen studied her daughter for a moment. You are safe now, yet you seem far away, she said. Zyrea looked. I left something behind. Or someone, the queen said softly. Zyrea nodded. He saved me. He cared for me when no one else was there. He asked for nothing. And you care for him, her mother said, sitting beside her. Yes, I do. The queen took her hand. Follow your heart, but tread with care. The council may not welcome a human so easily. Zyrea lowered her gaze. I don't care what they think. He deserves more than silence. He deserves to know I have not forgotten. The queen gave her a small smile. Then send a message. Let him know. That night, Zyrea sent a private transmission to a trusted merchant. She gave instructions and a sealed message. She did not know if it would reach Matt, but she had to try. Meanwhile, on the desert planet, Matt had returned to his quiet life. He checked the signal tower every day, hoping for a reply, but none came. He told himself not to expect anything, but his heart never stopped waiting. Then one evening, the old trader appeared. His ship landed with a low hum, and he stepped out holding a small device. Got something for you, the trader said. Matt took the device and turned it on. Zyrea's face appeared, her voice soft but clear. Matt, I hope this reaches you. I am home now, but my heart remains with you. I miss our time together. You are not forgotten. If you are willing, come to me. I want you here, not as a guest, but as someone I trust and someone I care for. Matt stood still for a long time, staring at the screen. Then he looked at the trader. "Can you take me to her world?" The trader grinned. "For the right price and a bit of luck, yes." Matt packed his few belongings. He took the radio, the scarf Zyrea once touched, and a small metal piece from the ship. Wreckage as a memory dot, the journey to her world was long and full of danger. Border patrols, paperwork, and mistrust followed him. But he kept going. Finally, the trader's ship landed near the capital. Guards waited. One of them handed Matt a letter. "From the princess?" the guard said. Matt opened it and read. It simply said, "I am waiting." He followed the guards through wide halls filled with glowing lights and polished stone. People stared at him, whispering. Some looked curious, others angry, but Zyrea stood at the top of the stairs, dressed in royal robes. Her eyes met his. She smiled and walked down to meet him. "You came," she said. "You called," he answered. She reached out and took his hand. The court gasped, but she did not care. "Come," she said. "We have much to talk about." And together they walked into the palace, side by side, a princess and a human warrior bound by something stronger than duty. The days passed slowly in the desert. Zyrea's leg healed little by little, and she began to walk with more strength. Matt worked on the signal booster every day. He fixed wires, adjusted dials, and tested it again and again. Zyrea watched him, sometimes helping by handing tools or holding parts in place. She liked being useful. Back in the palace, everything was done for her. Here with Matt, she felt different, more alive. One morning, the device gave a short beep. A green light blinked. Matt smiled. "It's working. Now let's see if we can reach someone." He adjusted the signal and pressed a button. Static filled the room, but then a voice came through. Faint and broken. Repeat. "This is patrol unit. Searching for royal vessel. Do you copy?" Zyrea's eyes lit up. "That's my people." Matt handed her the mic. "Talk to them." She took a deep breath. "This is Princess Zyrea of the House of Cairo. I am alive." "Repeat. I am alive. I am with a human ally. Coordinates will follow." The voice on the other side crackled again. Princess. Stay in place. Rescue team en route. Hold position." Zyrea put the mic down and turned to Matt. Her hand shook. "They're coming," Matt nodded. "Good. You'll be safe." She looked at him carefully. "And what about you?" "They might not be happy to see me," he said with a quiet laugh. "But I'll deal with it." That afternoon, they packed what little they had. Zyrea insisted on carrying her own bag, even if it slowed her down a little. Matt showed her how to keep her weight off the injured leg as they prepared to leave the bunker. "You sure you're ready for this?" he asked. She said, "I want to see my people. But I don't want to leave this place either." He smiled. "It's not the place you'll miss." She looked away, a small blush on her cheeks. Before nightfall, they saw lights in the sky. 3 ships descended, dust flying as they landed near the crash site. Zyrea and Matt stood on a rock, watching. Soldiers in silver armor stepped out, scanning the area. One of them ran forward. "Princess Zyrea." She walked down slowly, standing tall despite her limp. The soldiers bowed deeply. "We feared you were dead," the leader said. "Your father will be relieved." Matt stayed behind, watching from a distance. The soldier turned and looked at him. "Who is this human?" "He saved my life," Zyrea said firmly. "Without him, I would not be here." The soldier frowned. "He must be questioned." "He is not your prisoner," she said sharply. Matt stepped forward. "It's okay, Zyrea. I understand." She looked at him with worry. "Will you come with me?" "I can't." "Not yet?" "Why not?" "Your world. It's not ready for someone like me, and I'm not sure I belong there." Her heart sank. "Then what happens now?" He stepped closer. "You go home. Rest. Rule if that's your path. And when you're ready, if you still want me to be part of your world, you send for me." Zyrea reached. out and touched his hand. "Promise me you'll wait." "I will," he said softly, "but don't wait too long." She leaned in and pressed her forehead to his, a sign of thanks and bond from her people. Then she turned and walked with the soldiers into the ship. Matt stood there, watching as the ships lifted into the air, carrying her away. The desert grew quiet again. He walked back to his bunker, feeling the weight of silence. But deep in his heart, he knew this wasn't the end. Not for them. Zyrea sat near the small fire Matt had built. The bunker was cold in the mornings, and the warmth helped her relax. She still couldn't believe she was alive, let alone safe. Her leg ached, but the pain was better than yesterday. Matt moved around the shelter, checking supplies and fixing a broken panel near the door. She watched him with quiet curiosity. He was different from the other humans she had seen in the royal records. He looked rugged and strong, but not cruel. There was something calm about him. Matt glanced over and saw her staring. "Sleep well?" She nodded. "Better than I expected." He smiled and walked over with a small bag. "I found some bandages and better medicine." "We need to take care of that cut." Zyrea hesitated. She had always been treated by royal doctors, not strange men with calloused hands. But she let him sit beside her. Matt unwrapped the old bandage gently. "Looks cleaner now. That's good." She flinched when he touched the wound, but he moved with care. "You're skilled," she said. "Just learn from experience," he replied. "Fought in the border wars." "Had to patch myself up a lot." Her eyes widened. "You were a soldier?" He nodded. "A long time ago. Got tired of fighting. Now I just travel. Try to help when I can." Zyrea looked down at her hands. "I never thought I would owe my life to a human." "Life's funny like that," Matt said with a grin. They sat in silence for a while. Outside, the wind pushed against the metal walls. The desert was unforgiving, but the bunker held strong. Later, Matt opened the box and pulled out a small radio device. He frowned as he tapped it. "What is that?" she asked. "Old signal booster. If I can fix it, I might be able to call for help." Zyrea's heart jumped. "You can contact my people?" "Maybe," Matt said. "Depends if your ship's beacon is still working. I need to get closer to the crash site." "It's too dangerous," she warned. "Scavengers might still be there." "I can handle myself," he said. "Let me come with you," she offered. He shook his head. "You need rest. If something happens, I don't want you caught in it." Zyrea didn't like being told to stay behind, but she knew he was right. Her body still felt weak. "Then promise me you'll be careful," she said softly. "I promise." He left before the sun got too high. Zyrea sat by the fire waiting. Every noise outside made her tense. She had always been guarded and protected. Now, she was alone, and her heart ached with worry. Hours passed. When the door finally opened, she stood up fast. Matt stepped inside, dusty and tired, but alive. He smiled and held up a piece of equipment. "Got the core unit. Should help boost the signal." She let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. That night, they sat together as Matt worked. On the device, Zyrea asked him questions about Earth, about his travels, and about the stars he had seen. "Do you miss your home?" she asked. Matt paused. "Sometimes. But it doesn't feel like home anymore. Too much changed." "I understand," she said. "My people may think I am dead. If I return, I won't be the same." He looked at her. "You're strong. You'll handle it." She gave him a small smile. "I feel stronger here than I ever did in the palace." He raised a brow. "Because of me?" "Maybe," she said. "Because I'm finally making my own choices." They shared a quiet moment. The fire cracked. Between them, "What will you do after this?" she asked. "Haven't thought that far," he replied. "Guess I'll figure it out." "Would you come with me?" she asked before she could stop herself. Matt looked surprised. "To your world?" She nodded. "I don't want to go back alone." He didn't answer right away. He looked into the fire, thinking. "Let's Get the signal working first, he finally said. Then we'll talk about the rest. Zyrea didn't push, but hope flickered in her heart. For now, she had him. And that was enough.